Welcome to our celebration of the bridge deck connecting today. It's a pleasure to have you here. And with this connection of the bridge, the Gordie Howe International Bridge is now officially a border crossing. So I hope you all brought your travel documents, otherwise your stay with us might be a bit extended today. Now this is definitely not the first celebration. That honor went to our workers. Our amazing men and women that made this structure possible. So firstly, thank you to all of them. However, your presence here today signifies your commitment and dedication to this project and seeing this border crossing come to life. So I want to thank you for your support in the past, the present, and our future to come. To begin our event, it is important to acknowledge that the land where the Gordie Howe International Bridge project is being constructed is on the Anishinaabe territory. The Anishinaabe in the Windsor area are known as the Three Fires Confederacy, which consist of the Ojibwe, Awadawa, and Potawatomi nations. This land has also served as a place for refuge for Huron and Wendat people. I'm privileged to introduce Elder Teresa Sims, a traditional Indigenous knowledge keeper from the Upper Mohawk Turtle Clan of the Six Nations Reserve, to provide a blessing for us.
I'm not that tall.
No.
Okay. Ganawala dosa la son kwait deson. Kaji just a Hawaii nianget. Honashoni onku hoi niha. These are words that come before all others. When two or more people meet, we send our greetings, our thanksgiving, and our love to Creator. We introduce ourselves to our spirit name. Mine is Kajijis Dahawi. She comes from the stars. I'm Upper Mohawk, Turtle Clan, one of the people Longhouse, and I try to follow a natural way of life. So I'd like to send greetings, thanksgiving, and love to all that are here today. Their hearts and minds together as one. A good heart and a good mind. An open heart and open mind. That we work together as one heart and one mind, that role and responsibility we've taken today. Also, I'd like to send our greetings, thanksgiving, and love to those who aren't here, those who are sick, those in the hospital, those incarcerated, those missing or lost. Hopefully, they'll join us in the future as we put our hearts and minds together as one. And as we look out at creation, creation has opened those clouds so we can have this celebration. And we give thanks to creation because we have to remember, creation can survive without us. We can't survive without creation. And I like to sing a song of friendship that talks about the eagle. The eagle flies highest. He's closest to Creator, and he sees that there's friends here, so it's time to prepare.
Go!
Thank you, Adler Sims. Miigwech. We have an impressive program of speakers today who we'll hear from shortly. This includes Honourable Sean Fraser, Minister of Housing, Infrastructure and Communities, Eric Kuzmicek, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Employment, Workforce Development and Official Languages, and the Member of Parliament for the Windsor-Tecumseh area, Shailene Batt, U.S. Federal Highways Administrator, Bradley Weefridge, Director of Michigan Department of Transportation, and David Henderson, CEO of the Bridging North America, our private sector partners. Also join me in recognizing elected officials and appointed celebrating with us today. Please hold your applause until then. We've got U.S. Ambassador to Canada, David Cohen, the Consul General of Canada in Detroit, Colin Bird, Windsor Mayor Drew Dulkins, Essex County Warden Hilda MacDonald, Member of Parliament Brian Massey and Chris Lewis, Member of Provincial Parliament Lisa Gretzky, Caldwell First Nations Chief Mary Duckworth, and Ward 2 City Councillor Fabio Constante, and then Marie Campagna and Jeff Alsop from our Board of Directors, and David Allard from the International Authority. Finally, we also have the family of our namesake, Murray and Marty Howe, here today. Thank you. Now, with the deck of the Gordie Howe International Bridge now connecting these two great nations, we have entered a new phase of construction, and we are even closer to seamlessly connecting North America by fall of next year. Once open, the Gordie Howe International Bridge crossing will transform how trade moves between Canada, the United States, and Mexico. We will shorten travel times, add capacity and redundancy to facilitate growth, and provide on-site amenities to enhance our customer experience. But not let's get ahead of ourselves. We still have a lot of work to complete over the next year. Over the next year, we will advance construction with the same commitment to safety and progress that you've witnessed over the past 5+ years. This includes our new colleagues from the Canada Border Services Agency and US Customs and Border Protection that's moved into temporary offices to support us in moving the project forward while protecting our border. So thank you for the border agencies who are supporting us.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. What an amazing, amazing, amazing day. Let's give a huge round of applause to Teresa again. What a beautiful ceremony that was and how timely that was. Also, just wanted to say how beautiful do those two flags look behind me in the background. How amazing, amazing that is. I also wanted to say this is one of those afternoons where if you lose your notes, they're gone. You are on your own. I want to begin by acknowledging as well, too, that we are gathered on the traditional and ancestral territory of the Three Fires Confederacy of First Nations, the Ojibwa, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi. I, too, also wanted to recognize some of our friends and colleagues that are here. My friend MP Brian Massey and MP Chris Lewis, MPP Lisa Gretzky, Mayors Dilkins, McDonald, others that I can't see here right now, Ambassador Cohen, Chief Duckworth, and others. It is absolutely wonderful to have you gathered here today. It's absolutely my pleasure to be here on this historic day on behalf of my colleague, the Minister of Public Safety, Democratic Institutions, and Intergovernmental Relations, Minister Dominic LeBlanc. And I want to begin where we ought to begin, by thanking the thousands of workers, both Canadian and American, that built this bridge. Iron workers, operating engineers, carpenters, laborers, and so many others. Over 13 million worker hours. This is their work of art, and it is spectacular. So thank you. This is also a great opportunity to recognize the amazing work of the Canada Border Service agencies. The CBSA has supported the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority throughout the bridge's construction, while also working closely with their partners at the Canadian Food Inspection Agency and U.S. Customs and Border Protection. These close partnerships are so crucial, and thanks to their collaboration, every detail has been considered for safety and security and a smooth border crossing experience. Let's give them a huge round of applause. In March of last year, we welcomed President Biden to the House of Commons, where he addressed Parliament and our nation. He said two things that I will always remember. A country is never more optimistic than its president or its leaders. And second, he said the one word that defines America and Canada, and that word is possibilities. And the president went on to say, nothing is beyond our capacity. We can do anything. We must never doubt our capacity. Canada and the United States can do big things. We stand together, we do them together, and we rise together. And that is, in essence, what this bridge is all about. We can do big things. I invited as my special guests to the President's address two nurses, Tina and Lori. They were there with me. They are two of the 1,600 nurses that cross the border each and every day to work at Detroit area hospitals like Henry Ford. And even during the earliest, the scariest days of COVID, they crossed that bridge and that tunnel and that border every single day. That's how you know who your friends are. I think about them today. And I think about the thousands of workers in my community, in our community of Windsor, Essex, that cross the border each and every day. The bridge connects us. This bridge connects us. But it is the people and the countless relationships that bind us. And today I think about my dad, who as an engineer in the auto sector, woke up every single day at 5 a.m. to cross the border, make the drive the 12-mile road to the factory that made things. Let this bridge, the Gordie Howe International Bridge, remind us in the world that we know how to build great things. That together, Americans and Canadians continue to work together as friends to build great things and build a great future for the people of today and the children of tomorrow. This spectacular bridge that connects Windsor and Detroit also reminds us that in movement there is freedom and opportunity and endless, endless possibility. And I wanted to thank as well the great people at the WDBA and Bridging North America as well too for their tremendous work and their leadership on bringing this historic project together. And now, it is my absolute great pleasure and honor to welcome to the stage my friend and our friend and the Minister of Housing, Infrastructure and Communities, the Honorable Sean Fraser. Let's give him a huge, warm round of applause. Sean.
Man, what a day. What a project. This is something to be proud of. This project is so much more than a bridge. To me, it represents the connection between Canada and the United States, our largest trading partner and our strongest ally. Over the course of our country's history, there's been no more steadfast friend than the United States of America. And though this project means everything to the city of Windsor and the city of Detroit, the impact that it's going to have in our country is going to be felt for a generation. When I look at the project that we're celebrating here today, I see incredible results that we're going to experience. I see 13,000 people who've contributed their labor over the course of this project history to make it happen. But that's just the people who worked on it directly. Think about the many years of advocacy. It's no coincidence that you see representatives from the federal government, from the provincial legislature, and from municipal governments. And I want to say thank you to everyone who loaned their voice and advocated for this project to happen over the last number of years, in fact, the last number of decades. These things don't happen by accident. They come as a result of many years of advocacy and a decision by governments to make the investments that we believe will pay off in the long term. And man, will this pay off in the long term. You look at the opportunities to grow our economies by eliminating the bottlenecks to international trade. Again, not just our largest trading partner, but this border crossing represents 1/3 of the trade that takes place between our countries. What we're going to see is potentially thousands of hours every day where trucks are no longer stuck in traffic, trying not only to cross the border, but navigate traffic through the downtown core of our cities. This is an extraordinary project that has created thousands of jobs in the short term, but is going to contribute meaningfully to our gross domestic product over the course of a generation. Look, I'll wrap up my short remarks because I've always been told the most popular politician in the crowd is the one with the shortest speech, by finishing the way that Eric started. I want to say thank you to the workers who made this possible. As much as it may be politicians who talk about it on the news and may be quoted in the newspapers, we weren't the ones who were contributing our labor every day. To the unions who represent the workers, thank you for advocating for a safe workplace. Thank you for negotiating good wages for people to be able to put food on the tables for their families. And to the workers themselves, I'm in awe at this extraordinary project that you've constructed to connect our nations. This is something that is so much more than an opportunity to contribute a paycheck to a local economy or to allow you to get by. This is something that I hope you're extremely proud of. You've contributed something that makes me extremely proud to be Canadian. When we work together, we can do big things at a time when doing big things has never been more difficult. You have made an extraordinary difference and have contributed to a project that is going to make an extraordinary difference, not over the next few months, not over the next few years, but over the next century. The relationship between Canada and the United States is represented by the work that you have done day in and day out over the last number of years. I am grateful as a Canadian for proving that, once again, as Eric said, we can build big things, we can do big things, not because of the elected officials, but because of the men and women who contribute their effort, their time, and their energy to make big things possible. Thank you, and congratulations to everyone who's gathered here to commemorate this important moment in the history of this project and the history of the relationship between Canada and the United States.
Thank you, Minister Fraser. It's an absolute honor to have you here today. Next, join me in welcoming David Henderson, the CEO of Bridging North America, our partners in building this amazing structure. David.
Thank you, Charles. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Well, we did it. We successfully completed the connection of the bridge, and that's why we're here today celebrating this incredible milestone. Early on the morning of June 14th, our bridge team started at midnight for a 12-hour shift that will likely be one of the greatest highlights of their careers. And they finished a bit earlier than that 12-hour shift, I might add. We installed the permanent girders and beams to officially connect the Gordie Howe International Bridge. What an accomplishment. But it was no easy feat. On a project of this magnitude and complexity, nothing usually is. We've been supported the entire way by an amazing group of subcontractors, suppliers, and fabricators. I want to give credit to the B&A support employees in our skilled trades for all of the hard work, iron workers, operating engineers, laborers, carpenters, and other workers who put the pieces, the individual pieces together to make this whole project. Thank you. And I want to recognize the support of our staff, our construction engineers, and our managers who helped provide guidance for this project. We could only do this with each and every one working together safely and collaboratively. There's still lots of work to be done. B&A is focusing on the remaining bridge elements like the multi-use path, the guardrails, the piping and the electrical within the bridge, paving, and more. It's exciting to see all this work being completed. It's been a long road to get here. Our teams are focused on finishing the other segments in the project, the ports of entry, the I-75 interchange, and also the local road improvements in Detroit and here in Windsor. I'd like to recognize WDBA for their partnership on this significant P3 project. as well as the support from our parent companies, Fluor, ACS Dragados, and Icône, and also our designer, ACOM. Thank you. And now I'll pass to MDOT Director Brad Wifrick. He's representing our other partners in Michigan. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Michigan Governor, Gretchen Whitmer, I want to thank everyone from the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority and other dignitaries here today for all you've done to help us reach this milestone. By now, I'm sure most of you have seen a photo taken recently, right here, high above the Detroit River, 2 ironworkers, one from Canada, one from the United States, shaking hands to mark the completion of this bridge deck. That photo captures what this project is really all about. It's about jobs, it's about the economy, and it's about partnership. As someone who spent a career studying, designing, overseeing the building of vital transportation infrastructure, that photo is very special to me. The camera captured the satisfaction, the excitement, the demonstrative pride those workers felt in being part of this historic project. These workers, Jason Huggett of Ontario and Casey Whitson of Michigan, were honored to be featured because they're both second-generation ironworkers, whose fathers also played a role in building high-profile structures. In Jason's case, his father worked on the twin span for the Blue Water Bridge up in Port Huron, connecting Port Huron and Sarnia. Casey's father helped build the Renaissance Center and the Joe Louis Arena. These are jobs directly related to the building of this bridge. Just as significantly, though, their work creates and supports hundreds of thousands of other jobs. Whether it's asparagus, blueberries, and cherries from West Michigan, or auto parts, including electric battery materials and other parts of the state, the long-standing trade relationship between Michigan and Canada is vital to workers in myriad of industries. Finally, returning to the people who've worked so hard to see this project, from the germ of a seed to an idea to this celebration of a tangible connection, I want to acknowledge a couple of colleagues at MDOT, actually more than a couple. These include men and women that have worked tirelessly on anything from engaging the community members who live in the shadow of the bridge, complex property negotiations, to the Detroit city officials for helping with the local street connections. First of all, I want to thank Mohammed El-Gharabi. Mohammed's a senior project manager who made the concept of this bridge a passion for nearly 2 decades, building vital relationships and trust with our Canadian partners, local and federal officials, as well as people in the neighborhoods and surrounding the bridge footprint in Detroit. Another person I want to recognize is Hussein Ibrahim. He is another senior project manager who in more recent years has navigated the technical and day-to-day issues that come with any project of this size, whether it's putting out fires with big utility companies or ensuring that contractors' work is in alignment with Federal Highway Administration guidelines. Hussein has really helped us get to where we are today. But again, it's not just these two. I did especially want to highlight them, but there are thousands of people that work very hard to make this happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Brad. It's always a pleasure to work with you and your team. Now I'd like to welcome Administrator of the Federal Highway Administration, Shailene Van.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. There we go. What an amazing day. I want to thank the technical staff for making the audio work here. One bone of contention. When I walked up, you were playing "Make My Dreams Come True" by Hall & Oates. It's a hockey theme today. That is the goal song of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Not in keeping with Gordie Howe. I just, for the opening, but this stream is about making dreams come true, but can't bring the Leafs into this today. Gordie would not be pleased. I want to thank the photographer. Go, Gordie. Should have thrown an elbow. Maybe that would have made the picture a little more authentic. I actually grew up in Ontario and grew up. Wayne Gretzky was my hero. Gordie Howe was his hero. So I feel like that is a nice connection today. But my mom and dad worked in the automotive industry. My mom would work in a radiator factory. My dad ran a plant that made seat covers. All of those goods would come down the 401 and then come across to factories over here. And that, to me, this bridge is a symbol of that connection. And then I came to go to university in the States when it was time for me to go to school. And I would sit on Huron Church Road with all of these trucks backed up. And I was like, somebody should do something about this. And thankfully, there were visionary leaders out there to get that done. The Federal Highway Administration has played a key partnership role here. But, you know, we've just been in the background helping all of the people who have been working to design, to build, to make today possible. And we couldn't have done it without you. I do want to thank you for recognizing President Biden's words. It's great to work for a president and a vice president that really care about infrastructure, massive investments in infrastructure in the United States. It's great to live in a state, as a Michigander now, I don't live that far from this bridge, to live in a state with a governor who really cares passionately. And I know the governor wanted to be here today, but Gretchen Whitmer could not be here. When we thank her for her investments. But I mean, when you think about what this bridge means, Minister, I think you said that 33% of our trade crossed this bridge. My note said 25%. I don't know if that's a metric conversion that we're losing a little bit out on there, but needless to say, this is a critical bridge for our nations, for the city of Windsor, the city of Windsor, city of Detroit, for Michigan, for Ontario, and for the United States and Canada, my home and native land. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the iron workers who built this, the engineers who built this, and really looking forward to next year when it opens up and what this will mean for decades to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to all our speakers. Thank you for all of you for joining us today, 150 feet above the Detroit River. We hope to see you all again next year when we open for traffic. And with that, that concludes our event for today. Our dignitaries will be available for interviews, and our staff will start assisting you getting back to the bus and back to your vehicles. Thank you very much.